When me look is a woman, me see her come down in the gully. So me say, wait on there, Shabal, I say, help me. Me can't swim, me I go dead. And me say, hold on on the pallet there. Because the pallet that come down side and she hold on the pallet and me run go on the gully. But how the gully a bubble, the pallet flick over with her and me no see her. So me I say, wait, she gone. But oh, she float up back, she come against the banking now and a floater come down on her face. Same way as how, just watch it, same way as how you see me stay, so she a floater come down. So I just grab her in her neck, so I hold on the gully with her foot here. Let me spin around and show you, hold on the gully with her foot here and stretch over in the gully. So when she a float come across now, I just grab her in her neck and just lift her up, so I hold her with her and she say, no make me dead. I say, nah, make you dead, man. Everything alright.
Welcome to Crime Time News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The voice that you just heard is of one of the heroes of an incident that took place where it was confirmed that two persons, a lady and a man, 19-year-old Rajan Melbourne, was swept away in the sandy gully. Unfortunately for Mr. Melbourne, he did not make it. His body was found maybe about 24 hours later in some sort of bush. DEAD, no coming back. Unfortunately, situations like these can be avoided or preventable, but it seems as if people like the rush, people like the adrenaline rush have taken risk with their life. And whenever you take unnecessary risk with your life, that chance is going to bust just like some sorts of balloon. And that is the case in this case, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is how incompetent and negligent the relevant authorities in Jamaica are. Transport Authority, Ministry of Health, as in Dr. Christopher Tufton, as in Darrell Vaz. I am speaking about an incident that occurred at the Sangsters International Airport that is in Montego Bay, St. James, wherein a man that was on some sort of flight, JetBlue flight to be specific, headed towards Florida. He had some sorts of medical condition, I think heart attack. He fell down. He was awaiting some sorts of emergency assistance. However, that emergency assistance was not forthcoming. I am going to let you take a look to what one of his family members had to say as he was there, and he gave the intricate details showing and proving the negligence of the relevant authority in Jamaica, including the airport managers. Take a look.
He says he was told that he had to pay $400 before an ambulance could be provided to take Mr. Smith to a medical facility.
25 minutes later, I got a call that I need to go to the Cornwall Regional Hospital because the person I just left there, he fell down and need urgent care. So I asked, who is this? And she said she's a representative from JetBlue.
JetBlue is the airline he was flying with?
The airline he was traveling with, yeah.
Okay.
I tell her I'm close by. If I can come back and get him. She said, no, he's in need of urgent care, so they would have to call the ambulance. She said it was $400 to transport him to the hospital and they need confirmation. So I said, all right, no problem.
And that's 400 US?
Yeah, 400 US. She was debating and it was just the 400. She need confirmation. I said, miss, go ahead and take him. Sir, I need confirmation. So I have to ask her, I said, it look like a me don't know the confirmation mean or you. I said, carry man, $400 to save somebody's life. I don't know that.
He says when the ambulance arrived at the airport, it was too late as his uncle had already passed. Mr. Smith says he was told he still had to pay an ambulance fee despite his uncle not being able to use the service.
The ambulance people, them still have to pay them 10,000 because they say them come on the scene and them make the person dead or whatever, so I still have to pay them.
Who asked you for the $10,000?
The ambulance personnel.
The driver?
Me not sure who, if I a driver or what, but it was a lady run the car, same place at the airport, but it was two of them, one man and a lady, and the lady run the car, show the receipt, them and said, them no money never come in a play or whatever, not like that. Can me have my receipt for sure, and me pay.
Tell me exactly what they said to you.
Sir, we understand where you go through now and everything, but a part of the policy, we come, we don't get to do anything, but you still have to pay a fee of 10,000.
Mr. Smith is adamant that there should be accountability for the death of his uncle at the airport. He says this is necessary to prevent a repeat of the circumstances in which his uncle died.
So tell me what you want to see happen now.
Them a person and whoever in charge or whatever out of the airport, them fit be an example.
Tell me what you mean by that.
No, man, somebody have to face some farmer consequences for this. You can't just look for a man, lie down and ground. If ambulance will come or if you don't get money, he can't move. You can't do nothing for him to try to save him. Even if he go dead, just try something to save him now. You can live 2 more minutes where you can say, alright, in dead while undergoing treatment or something like that. You know, just look for him. There's such no money, no PR, you know, get something signed. Yeah, go get your money. So just carry him. But everything just based upon the money. No money, no life.
So people, you heard what the family member of Leroy Smith had to say. I think that man's name is Raymond Smith. It is all about the money. Money is the motive. The man was flying on JetBlue. JetBlue is one of those discount airlines. You have to pay for baggage. They want money for everything. So therefore, you get the bare necessity. One of those bare necessity is not your life, has nothing to do with your life. And I am not blaming the airlines. I am blaming the airport authority, the managers of that airport. I am blaming the transport ministry. I am blaming specifically the Ministry of Health. Now we see everybody pointing fingers. The managers of the airport saying that that is not their responsibility. The transport minister saying that that is not his responsibility, even though it is a part of his portfolio, meaning bus, train, aeroplane, spaceship. The Ministry of Health is blaming the authorities at the airport, blaming everybody else. So we see everybody pointing finger, but nobody is taking any sorts of responsibility. Because at the end of the day, it came down to somebody to confirm that, yes, they are going to pay this $400 for that ambulance and paramedics fee. If that was not paid or confirmed, nobody is going to move, meaning BODY2, meaning that you could actually DIE on the floor of the airport, as is the case in Mr. Leroy Smith's case. The people come with them card machine, and even after the ambulance reach emergency, reach late, them still want money because they claim that they are not responsible or were not responsible for the man losing his life. So therefore, from the ambulance leave out, a fee is assessed onto that person or onto that BODY. How sensitive. So it tells you that if you don't have any sorts of money when you are traveling, you are going to be DEAD, like DOG. Talk about incompetence, talk about negligence, talking about everybody pointing finger, but nobody taking any sorts of responsibility. Welcome to Jamrock, point blank and period.
You want to tell me say you can walk and
Ross, the driver dead.
Just back to Chris asking, so I don't care something.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called the curse in a Claremont. Claremont, I think, is in the St. Anne area. Is this a curse or is this negligence? Is this bad driving? Is this irresponsible people on a whole? Because less than a couple of days ago, we saw that a man, he was BURNT to a crisp in his house. It is said that he suffered some sorts of stroke. His wife, common law wife, would not allow his family members to come and see him. And whenever she left the grill locked. This man obviously could not walk. There was some sorts of FIRE and that man lost his life, unfortunately. Fast forward less than a day or so ago on the road again. This man that was driving some sorts of truck, don't know if he overestimated his driving skills. Based on information that I am getting, it is said that the road broke away from the weight of the truck. And that truck fell into some sorts of precipice, hundreds of feet down in some sorts of gully, like me say. Unfortunately for this man, he did not make it. The weight of the truck and the tumbling over in the precipice or gully. Bad combination. The next one bites the dust. Is it the curse of Claremont? Is it negligence and irresponsibility? Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, there's a saying that goes something like this. A wise man learns from his own mistake. A wiser man or woman learns from the mistakes of others. But it seems as if the level of negligence and incompetence in Jamaica is beyond explanation. I am speaking about an incident that took place at the Burger King in New Kingston, where it is said that some sorts of gas explosion caused at least 6 employees to lose their life. People, if we remember, there was also a said incident at some sorts of Chinese food restaurant in a New Kingston. Persons also were badly hurt. Now, people like me say accidents happen, but sometimes accidents are preventable, especially if you have competent people in the case. In this case, we saw that the persons that were responsible for installing the gas, selling the gas to Burger King, there was a whole bunch of negligence in this case, and I am going to explain. So pretty much the employees came to work on that fatal day. They realized that they smelled some strong fumes, which was gas. They called the providers of the gas. When the providers of the gas came, they checked and they said, yes, there was a leak. The cause of the leak was some sort of regulator, so therefore they changed the regulator. And they told these people, once the regulator is changed, everything is now safe. Now, people, let me ask you this. If you're working for one of those gas companies, commercial gas installation, and you go to one of your clients and they're complaining that there's an overwhelming smell of gasoline in the building, in the premises, you should have some sorts of machinery. We are living in a very technologically advanced place and state. So therefore, you're supposed to have one of those simple machines, just like them have smoke detector. They also have gas detector that is going to tell you when there's an unhealthy amount of fumes in the building. This man gave the people the green light, which became the red light, because 10 minutes after that person left the place, EXPLODED, lick out the wall of the glass, lick out the door, and even fling out people from inside the building, and persons that were outside the building were also injured. 6 persons in all. People, I was not there, but I understand. I have psychoanalyzed the negligence and incompetence and loss and dazedness of Jamaican workers, employees. I bet that man went to the people establishments. His sole job was to replace some sorts of regulator based on what he detected the problem was. However, he did not have the sense of mind, he did not have the training, or he did not give a FUCK, that he did not make sure that he checked and make sure that the fumes or the gas that was already leaking from that regulator is not dangerous and could not cause any sorts of EXPLOSION. He probably was on his phone when he came. He probably was talking to matey. He probably was not focused on his job, because if he had any sorts of sense or any sorts of experience, just simply common sense. Because it is really simple. If you have a gas stove, whether it is the commercial grade or whether it is the house grade, you should always check. Make sure, say, if you smell anything, you make sure, say, you open the door, open the windows. Unfortunately, most of those establishments, because of AC condition, they're not going to just allow the windows to be open. However, you need to air out the place to make sure that it is safe, because whenever the gas is overwhelming in the building, all it takes is just some sorts of strike, some sorts of flame, and boom, there goes the neighborhood, and that is exactly what happened. Whoever was in charge of that installation should be sued, meaning by the employees and even the establishment themselves. You cannot afford to listen to people in a Jamaica whenever them come and check something. Make sure say you check as if you are the person that is supposed to be responsible for it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is responsible for your life like you should be. These people don't give a F-U-C-K. They seems to be distracted. They seems to always be in a la-la land, and they will send you to the land of no return if you leave your life in their hands. And such is the case in this case, point blank and period. Now the next thing that is popping in the news, you've always heard me said, Nannyville, Mountain View is like a volcano. It remains dormant for a little while, and then it just erupts. It never changes. It is in their natural instincts. These people just have a natural hate for each other. I am speaking about top and bottom Nannyville. I am speaking about Ashanti. I am speaking about all those gangs in those two police vicinity. In excess of 90-something people lost their life already. However, there's a specific gang war that is going on, and the latest victim, his name is Kareem Hamil. He is said to be the brother of a strongman community leader / Dan, whatever you want to call it. Based on information, it is said that about 11-something he was walking in the community, Nannyville Gardens. He had picked up some sorts of food. He was going to take it to his baby mother's house. However, he was pounced upon by a couple of people with the wrong sorts of things in them and the situation got from worse to worser. Rang to rang, bangara. After the smoke cleared, he was taken out. He was rushed to the hospital. However, those persons, based on the situation or based on the places in his body, meaning the head and upper torso that he was corned up, he was never going to make it. They would give him some sorts of guarantee of DEATH. Now, based on the information confirmed, this is some sorts of conflict that has been going on for years, maybe even decades. If you remember, 3 individuals were caught up one time. Out of those 3 individuals, there were 2, blue and pink, that lost their life. It is said that Adan lost his life. His name was Dangas, in some sorts of reprisal. A couple of days later, 2 persons were taken out in a Nannyville in reprisal for Dangas' takeaway. And here we go again, Mr. Hamil. He is the latest victim. Some people, he went to deliver food and they eat his food. The war continues. As soon as I get some more pertinent information, I'll be sure to divulge ASAP. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called, if you live in any sorts of glass house, don't throw any sorts of stone. Better yet, don't engage the popo and then run behind any sorts of wooden house. They are going to take you out. You are going to get FUCK, woodpecker. I am speaking about an incident that occurred in a place called Gregory Park, where it is confirmed an unidentified man was taken out. Based on the information, the popo was on some sorts of patrol when they saw an individual acting very bummy, acting very shaky. Them call him, "Hey boy, don't move." He decided to run, and what was even worse, he decided to wheel and pop off and blaze up some sorts of can after the popo, after running behind some sorts of wooden structure, some sorts of shack, them call it. However, he was shocked and awe. More specifically, he was conned up a couple of times. He was turkey rushed to the place of recovery. However, DEATHMURDER was the case that they gave him. Based on the popo side of the story, it is said that after they found him clutching onto his life, clutching onto some sorts of taros with 4 rounds, they then went into some sorts of house and they found 3 homemade tools and also a couple of other rounds. Based on what the popo says, there's no sorts of confirmed identity as to who exactly this man is, but persons are saying that he is from Spanish Town. Well, I guess what they say is true. The people them from the popo department, them vanished clown from Spanish Town. Such is the case in this case, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, Please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscriing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.